Hey Josh, remember last time when we talked about my very educated mother?
Yeah?
Yeah? Well, she just served us none.
Nine what?
Nine pizzas.
No Welcome to Cruising the Cosmos. I am Joshua Laughlin.
And I'm Jason.
Tonight we're going to be talking about the gas giants.
That's right, just
Jupiter,
served
Saturn,
us
Uranus,
nine,
Neptune.
but
No! That's it. Because there's only 8.
you sure there's no?
8.
Alright, tell me about Jupiter.
Alright, so first, let's start with Jupiter.
How big is it?
Well, it's 318 times as massive as Earth.
That's pretty big.
It's very big.
What else can you tell me about Jupiter?
Well, since the 1800s, we have witnessed a giant red spot.
Really?
Yep. It is a hurricane, which can easily fit Earth inside of it.
That's pretty big.
It's very large.
Got a picture of that?
I have more than that. I have a video.
You don't say. You do say.
I do say, and if you actually look at the video, you can see how the different banding feeds the hurricane.
That thing moves pretty quick, huh? That's kind of out of any of our hurricanes leagues on Earth, right?
Right. This hurricane is moving at roughly 400 miles per hour.
That wind speed's pretty high.
It's very high.
I mean, I know some people that are full of hot air, but they can't blow that quick.
Right. So, anyway, there's a lot of interesting features about Jupiter. First off, it's got a large, very large magnetic field. It's 20,000 times stronger than Earth's.
Oh, you took the words right out of my mouth.
Oh, I did. What else is known is its gravity. Gravity. Large gravity. Seeing how it's the largest planet in our solar system, it has a very unique feature, which is our shield.
That's right. It's large enough gravitational field will pull a lot of things towards it.
Such as Shoemaker
Levy.
9. When this comet hit Jupiter, it left scars. And it protects us from all kinds of different debris.
And on top of that, it does have some pretty neat banding in it too, right?
Yes, the banding is very unique, and its atmosphere is mostly hydrogen and helium. It has been referred to as a failed star, but something to note is that a star is formed when the gases collapse in, not in the planetary disk.
So it's kind of small too for a failed star. Those things are a lot bigger than what Jupiter can be.
Right, it's pretty small compared to stars. However, it's fairly large compared to Earth.
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
And it does have a lot more moons compared to Earth, right?
Right, including its temporary moons, it has roughly a little over 60.
Any notable ones?
Europa. In fact, we believe there's liquid water underneath the ice of Europa, and we plan to send a probe out there to see if there's any type of life.
No, not bad.
Not bad at all.
NASA can probe my moon. Hey Josh, tell me about your first time.
First time what?
Well, seeing Jupiter. I mean, that's the subject that we're talking about.
Oh, well. It was a nice, dark night. It was You and I. It was just you and I.
Yeah, it was.
So there we were. And we were looking at the star. And it looked so pretty. And I remember Jason saying, hey, I wonder if that's Jupiter. Now, my star chart said it shouldn't be Jupiter. So I was like, I don't know. And he was just all like, I'm going to give it a look.
Being the persistent bugger that I am.
He had a wild hair.
Go figure. The bald man having wild hair.
Well, he took his little 4-inch...
4.5?
Newtonian telescope. And...
The half-inch matters, Josh.
Okay. And then, next thing I know, I hear, hey, dude, you have to come here. Oh my God, it's Jupiter. Sure enough, it was Jupiter.
It looked like bacon.
It looked like glorious bacon. We couldn't eat it, though.
We tried. And that's a story for another time.
Another time indeed.
So Josh, next up we have Saturn.
Indeed we do.
And Saturn is very beautiful.
It is very beautiful.
You want to know how beautiful it is?
How beautiful?
It's so beautiful, the universe put a ring on it. Tell me more about Saturn. How big is it?
Well, Saturn is 95 times larger than Earth.
That's pretty big.
It's big, not as big as Jupiter,
Oh,
but
of
it's...
course not.
Well, I need you to put the of course in there, but yes.
Does Jupiter have a girth problem?
It does.
So, what's unique about Saturn?
Besides the ring system?
Besides the ring system.
Well, it has a storm at the pole, its North Pole.
And what's so unique about storms on the North Pole? I know we've seen it plenty of times through other planets and here and wherever. What's unique about this one?
Well, something that's very unique is the fact that it has corners. It takes on a hexagonal shape.
And we don't see that too often, do we?
I've never seen it anywhere else. It had literally corners. And the center is a hurricane.
You know what? I want to see this.
Well, fortunately, I also have a video of that. Now, going back to the ring system.
Okay.
We like looking at it, and we think it looks all nice and flat. You could drive on this thing. But that's not the case. In fact, there's a lot of space in between these rocks. Ice rocks. It's mostly made of ice. Some can be as large as cars and trucks.
And I know in the early part of astronomy with Galileo and such, they didn't have as strong a telescopes as we do, obviously. And it kind of looked like a little teapot, huh?
It did, and they also said it looked like ears.
Yeah.
And at one point, Saturn became edge-on, where you couldn't see the rings, and they were wondering why the ears disappeared.
And now we know.
And now we know.
We have sent probes.
We have. We had the Cassini probe.
Yeah. And that came back with some really pretty pictures, right?
Some beautiful pictures. Ooh.
So since we hit the subject of space rocks and rings, how many moons does this thing have?
It has a little over 50 moons.
That's a pretty impressive list.
It is, but wait. What's that?
What is it?
Is it the Death Star?
Dun 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 dun!
No, it's not the Death Star. It's just Mimas. It has a crater that made it look just like the Death Star.
Well, that's unique.
It actually is pretty funny, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I remember seeing the Death Star in Star Trek. That was probably one of its best villains.
Dude. No. You never mix Star Wars and Star Trek.
They're close enough.
No, they are not! Do we have to get into a war about which is better? Be a huge debate, Star Trek versus Star Wars. I mean, Star Trek, you know, they got Picard, they got all the good stuff, how it's plausible, it's realistic. And you got wars, it's all... Cut! Well, Jason, if they put a ring on Saturn, well, God gave Neptune diamonds.
Diamonds?
Diamonds. It rains diamonds on Neptune.
It's raining diamonds. Hallelujah. It's raining diamonds. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And I think that leads us to Uranus.
Indeed it does.
And Uranus is pretty unique in the fact that it is sideways.
It is, and we believe something had hit it in the early days of the solar system to cause it to be sideways.
And I think they said something about the size of maybe an Earth-like object could hit it.
Probably, more than likely.
And speaking of Earth, tell me how big this thing is.
It's roughly 15 times more massive than Earth.
It's kind of small. I mean, it's not as big as the gas giants. What do they consider this one here?
Well, Uranus and Neptune are really considered the ice giants because of their makeup.
Right. And this one here was discovered a little bit late in our times, huh?
Indeed it was, by William Herschel.
He's a little famous.
Just a little bit.
Okay. So let's see. How many moons does it have, Josh?
It has roughly 27. I believe 27 is the exact number. But, things change as we get better telescopes.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Have we ever probed Uranus?
So yes, Jason, we have sent probes out that way. In fact, most of what we know comes from the Voyager 2 probe, which I believe all the data came back in 1986.
So yeah, apparently NASA doesn't have much interest in Uranus.
Well, it's not really that. It's a very far away object, and probes cost money.
They do cost money. So, I guess another kind of interesting thing about Uranus is its color, right?
Right, it's a blue color, but that's because of the methane in its atmosphere. It absorbs the red light. Something else that's actually really interesting is we have evidence that shows that Uranus and Neptune formed in the opposite places.
So at some point in time, they did switch spots then, right?
Indeed, and what we believe happened is Jupiter and Saturn lined up, and because of all that gravity, it pulled, and it caused a shift. When they changed places, the only thing that really slowed down Neptune was, we believe, asteroid belts.
So that's a little different than what we've seen so far, huh?
Right, it's pretty unusual, but that's our solar system.
That's early solar system. Hey Josh.
Yep.
We're almost done, ain't we?
Well, yep.
That leaves
Neptune.
What do you think about Neptune?
Well, it's blue.
It's blue.
It's big.
How big?
It's 17 times larger than Earth.
It's not too shabby.
Nah, not much.
You know what's kind of neat about Neptune?
What's that?
It's got a great big spot like Jupiter.
It does.
How big is that spot?
Large enough to fit Earth in it.
Well, that's pretty fancy.
It is.
How about the wind speed on that planet?
It could be 3 times stronger than Jupiter.
Now that is actually impressive.
It is.
How many moons we got?
Well, as of July 1st of 2013, we have discovered the 14th moon.
So you're telling me sometimes these planets get new moons?
Well, it's not just that. We're finding things that we normally haven't seen before using our telescopes. Hubble is the one that found this one.
Well, that's good. It shows that astronomy is not dead at all.
It's not dead.
We always have a lot of things to discover, right?
Always.
So, what else can you tell me about Neptune? Anything else interesting?
Well, it's blue.
So you said it was blue, right?
I did. The thing is, it's more vivid. It's a much brighter blue than Uranus. We don't know why. We we assume there must be something else, some other type of component that's causing it to be such a vivid blue.
But there's still a little bit of unknown about it, huh?
There's a good deal of unknown to this planet.
Hey, didn't you mention something about streaking as well?
Well, clouds. There's we've seen some streaking clouds going by Neptune.
No aliens?
No aliens. But I do have a picture of streaking clouds.
I guess that'll do.
Science in the news.
This week in the world of science. There hasn't been much.
No. No, there hasn't.
So I guess we can start off with life started on Mars.
Told you.
Okay, you said men came from Mars.
Exactly.
That's not really the case.
You just said.
New evidence suggests that life may have originated from Mars, but we, as people, didn't come from Mars. So let me fill you in with a little bit of details here. We got some information. Molybdenum. 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 Molybdenum.
Tell me about it.
Alright, so, Professor Stephen Banner, he stated that an oxidized mineral, form of the element...
Wasn't Stephen Banner the Hulk?
I think that was Bruce?
Okay, continue.
Alright, so, form of this element, molybdenum, it says it's crucial for life, and it can only have formed in dry places, which, as you may or may not know, Earth, when it was in the early stages of the solar system, it was wet, very wet, mostly water.
Alright.
Mars wasn't. It had more land than it had water, so it was very crucial, and it states that it can only have come from Mars. Also to note, RNA. We believe it came from Mars. Next up, winds from space.
Were they from your full moon?
No, they're interstellar winds. So we have some new information from scientists working on the IBX mission. So it's a NASA mission.
Okay.
And we discovered particles. They're streaming in from the interstellar winds, and from the past 40 years, we believe they've changed directions since the last 40 years. What this means, though, it's very important because it tells us where we are in the galaxy, where we have come from, and where we might be going.
It is good to note. Kind of gives us a little trail of breadcrumbs about our history.
Indeed. Next up, moons.
Moons!
Moons! So let's start off with Io, which is one of Jupiter's moons.
Okay.
Now, we recently have some information showing a large volcanic eruption.
How large?
Well, it was roughly 30 square kilometer.
Pretty impressive. Can you show me a picture?
I can. It is one of the top 10 of all the eruptions that's happened on Io.
Well, I'm glad that it happened in my lifetime.
Indeed. Also, while we're talking about moons, Titan, one of Saturn's moons. It has a very rigid ice shield on its surface. And they've noticed gravity is weaker on mountains.
Interesting.
It is interesting. They didn't know why. New research shows that they are calling it roots, almost like icebergs, how there's more underneath. It has been quoted that it's like saying there's a beach ball, and it's stuffed underneath the ice, and the only thing that's keeping it there is very strong ice.
Right. Well, That's pretty interesting. I'd like to see what they come up with that to finalize everything.
I would too. Titan's been a big topic with the Cassini missions.
I got a real quick question for you, though, Josh.
Yeah.
So, NASA refuses to send somebody to Mars, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they get Guinness out there for Io's volcano to put in the top 10. Who gives?
I don't know why I bother with you.
Next time on Cruising the Cosmos.
So, we finally done with the solar system?
Not yet. We still got the leftovers to take care of.
The crunchy, chewy bits.
Mmm, tasty.
That's right. I don't know where I was going with
That's fine. The schedule thing.
that. I don't have anything fancy for that, but our next scheduled episode is going to be on the 20th. And I know we got a lot of information and a lot of research ahead of us.
So anyway, thank you all for watching Cruising the Cosmos. Molybdenum.